When you think about the engine of a massive modern business, it's really tempting to picture this uh, perfectly calibrated machine.
Oh, absolutely. We
Yeah.
love that illusion, right?
Right. You pour a product or a service in one end, the gears just turn seamlessly, and revenue smoothly flows out the other side.
It's clean, it's predictable. I
Yeah.
mean, we want to imagine enterprise finance as this flawless digital assembly line where every byte of data just perfectly aligns with every dollar earned.
But then you actually look at how enterprise organizations manage their money on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, the reality is a bit different.
It's wild. The quoting, the complex subscription billing, trying to recognize revenue across international borders with different tax jurisdictions.
It gets messy fast.
Exactly. Suddenly that sleek engine looks a lot less like an assembly line and a lot more like this chaotic web of patched together pipes.
Yeah, with leaks everywhere.
Yes. Systems aren't talking to each other. Finance is working off a completely different spreadsheet than sales. And, well, things are just leaking.
It's the definition of operational friction. And for a really long time, enterprise leaders just sort of accepted that friction.
Like an unavoidable tax.
Exactly, the unavoidable tax of doing business at scale. You just hire more people to manually check the numbers, you run more audits, and you just deal with the delays.
And that operational friction is exactly what we are tearing into today. So welcome to our deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Today we are mapping out a massive fundamental shift in how modern businesses are finally fixing that broken money-making life cycle.
It's a huge topic.
It really is. We're looking at the evolution of moving from a traditional Salesforce CPQ architecture straight into the expansive, fully integrated world of Revenue Cloud.
Which is quite the leap.
And our guide for this journey is this really insightful roadmap laid out by Salesforce veteran Darren Ferneyhough. He published a piece called CPQ to Revenue Cloud in the UK Salesforce Consultants and Contractors community on LinkedIn.
Which is a crucial starting point. Because look, this isn't just a discussion about, downloading a new software patch or turning on a new feature toggle.
Right.
We are talking about a complete paradigm shift in how companies view, manage, and basically protect their revenue streams in a digital economy.
So moving from those isolated tasks to a unified life cycle.
Exactly. It's a move from isolated, specialized tasks to a unified, highly intelligent life cycle.
And to really get the full picture, we're not just looking at his article. We actually pulled context from Darren's professional LinkedIn and his Trailblazer profiles.
Yeah, you have to look at the source.
And honestly, looking at his background is just wild. He's like an F1 mechanic for the Salesforce ecosystem.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. He's been under the hood since 2007. He actually started as an accidental admin back then.
Which is how so many of the best people start.
Totally. Fast forward to today. He operates as a freelance consultant, a product manager. He mentors through the London Admins user group. But his Trailblazer profile is what really caught my eye.
Oh, the stats are incredible.
Over 1,300 badges. 1,356 to be exact.
Yeah, the sheer volume is impressive, but what's fascinating here is the specific certifications that he holds. That's what really matters for this.
Because he's not just sitting on legacy knowledge, right?
Exactly. He's got 5 major certifications, 11 super badges, and we're talking cutting-edge stuff like Agentforce service and prompt builder templates.
Wow.
He even holds the elite status of Innovator 2025 Agent Blazer.
Okay, so for anyone listening who might not, spend their weekends reading up on Salesforce release notes,
Fair enough.
what do those specific AI certifications actually mean in the context of this revenue cloud shift we're talking about?
Well, it means he understands how to move an organization from rigid rule-based systems to dynamic AI-driven environments.
So it's not just checking boxes.
No, not at all. Building a prompt template isn't just about making a data field required. It's about constructing the underlying logic that tells an AI how to actually analyze a complex enterprise contract.
Right, which is huge.
He has lived the transition from those basic modular tools to these highly intelligent ecosystems. He's evolved alongside the platform itself, which gives his roadmap a ton of practical credibility.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's get into the core of his thesis. Darren talks a lot about the limitations of sticking with the traditional CPQ setup.
Yeah, configure, price, quote.
Right. And for years, CPQ has been the absolute workhorse for sales teams. It does the math, it generates the quote, it's layered right there on top of Sales Cloud.
It's been very reliable for quote to cash.
So I have played devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
If a business has a CPQ system that is familiar and it's, successfully generating quotes, Why on earth would a CIO or CFO authorize the massive budget and all the disruption required to just rip out that plumbing and upgrade to Revenue Cloud?
That's the million-dollar question.
I mean, why fix a workhorse that isn't actually broken?
Because the nature of the track that the workhorse is running on has fundamentally changed.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. If you are a mid-market company selling a very straightforward product with a simple one-time pricing model, a standalone CPQ setup might still be completely fine.
It does the job.
Right. But the limitation Darren highlights is scalability in the face of modern business complexity.
So we're really talking about outgrowing the architecture.
Completely. Think about what happens when a company expands globally. They aren't just selling a simple box anymore.
Right, it gets complicated.
They are selling hardware bundled with a 3-year software subscription, maybe layered with consumption-based usage fees.
Oh, wow.
And that's all deployed across 5 different countries and 3 different currencies.
Okay, yeah, that is a whole different ballgame.
A traditional siloed CPQ system is entirely focused on the front end. It just wants to get the quote out the door.
It's like, here's the price, goodbye.
Exactly. It doesn't inherently know how to handle the back-end complexity of multi-layered billing or international tax compliance over a 3-year timeline.
You know, I like to visualize it like trying to coordinate a massive cross-country road trip using 5 different paper maps.
Oh, I like that.
Like the sales team has a map for quoting. The finance team has a totally different map for billing. The legal team has their own map for compliance.
And they're all in separate cars.
Right. They all might be accurate maps individually, but nobody is looking at the same route at the same time.
Yeah, that's the siloed experience.
So if a customer changes their subscription mid-trip, sales updates their map, but finance might not find out until they hit a roadblock and audit the invoice like 3 months later.
Which happens all the time.
So CPQ sounds like ordering a la carte at a restaurant where the kitchen, the server, and the cashier are barely even talking. But Revenue Cloud sounds like swapping out those paper maps for a single, real-time GPS system that everyone in the car is looking at simultaneously. Or like an all-inclusive resort where your room key just seamlessly manages everything.
That is a perfect analogy for the shift to a customer 360 platform. Darren points out that Revenue Cloud brings together CPQ, billing, partner relationship management, and revenue lifecycle management all into one integrated environment.
Everything in one place.
But let's actually take your GPS analogy a step further and look at one of the biggest nightmares for any CFO.
Okay, what is it?
Revenue recognition. Specifically, regulations like ASC 606 and IFRS 15.
Oh man, just saying ASC 606 out loud is enough to give a corporate accountant a cold sweat.
Seriously.
Let's break down for the listener why that is such a massive hurdle in a siloed system.
Well, under those regulations, a company cannot just recognize all the cash from a multi-year contract the moment the deal is signed.
You can't just say, hey, we made $1 million today.
Exactly. You have to recognize the revenue proportionally as the service is actually delivered over time.
Which sounds super simple in theory, but is a mathematical nightmare in practice.
A complete nightmare. Imagine a customer signs a $100,000 contract for software. Month 1, you deliver the software.
Easy enough.
But then, month 6, they downgrade their license. Month 9, they add a new premium feature.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah. If your quoting system, your provisioning system, and your billing system are all siloed, finance has to manually calculate and adjust that recognized revenue on a spreadsheet every single time the customer alters their contract.
That is just begging for human error.
It's incredibly prone to errors. Revenue Cloud brings that compliance natively in-house.
So it does the math for you.
Right. When the sales rep clicks Update Contract on the front end, the revenue recognition schedule automatically recalculates on the back end. No spreadsheets, no lag time.
Which brings us to the actual technology making that possible. Let's look under the hood a bit.
Let's do it.
Darren highlights some specific technological gears that drive this integration. One of them is how the system actually talks to the outside world. He mentions MuleSoft.
Yeah, and integration is usually where enterprise tech stacks just completely fall apart.
Oh, for sure.
In a traditional setup, getting your CPQ to talk to an external ERP system, like SAP or Oracle, requires heavy, custom-coded engineering.
You had to build custom bridges.
And every time one of those systems updates, the custom bridge between them just breaks.
Right.
Revenue Cloud leverages MuleSoft, which basically acts as an advanced integration layer. It allows for seamless, API-led connectivity with those third-party external tools without needing to hard-code brittle point-to-point connections.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Integration is great, obviously, but Darren identifies the real game changer as the leap in AI and automation capability.
Yes, this is huge.
We're talking about moving from basic rule-based automation, which is essentially just, if this, then that scripting, to leveraging Salesforce Einstein.
Yeah.
And he uses a very specific phrase, revenue leakage detection.
That is the multi-million-dollar phrase right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
I want to spend some time on how that actually works. We hear revenue leakage and we sort of intuitively understand the concept. It's like money silently dripping out of the corporate bucket.
Exactly.
Like a sales rep gives an unapproved 5% discount to close a renewal, and it just slips past the manager. Or a partner channel fee is miscalculated based on an outdated tier structure.
Or a tiny billing error on a really complex multi-year subscription.
Yes. And human auditors simply cannot catch all those microscopic holes across tens of thousands of global transactions.
It's impossible.
But how does Einstein actually detect and patch that leakage? Like, what is the actual mechanism?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture of AI capabilities, Einstein isn't just acting as a digital spell checker here.
Okay.
It is actively analyzing massive volumes of historical and real-time transaction data to identify anomalies and patterns.
Give me an example.
Let's say a sales rep is configuring a quote. They add product A and offer a 15% discount. Historically, every single time product A is sold with that specific discount, a mandatory implementation fee must also be attached to maintain the profit margin.
Okay, but what if the rep forgets to add the implementation fee? Because in a legacy system, that quote goes out, the customer signs it, and the company just eats the margin loss.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. The human approver might miss it entirely because they are, reviewing 50 quotes that day.
They're exhausted.
Right. But Einstein recognizes the pattern deviation instantly. Before the quote can even be sent, the AI flags the missing fee, alerts the rep, and suggests the correction based on historical win rates.
Wow.
It literally patches the leak before the water ever leaves the bucket.
I absolutely love that. It's shifting artificial intelligence from just being a passive administrative assistant that drafts emails for you to an active, vigilant financial guardian.
And that level of active guardianship leads to very tangible bottom-line results.
Which we all want to see.
Exactly. To anchor this in reality, Darren provides 2 specific case studies of organizations that actually made this transition.
Yes, let's get into the real-world proof. The theory is great, but how does this actually look when a company flips the switch?
So the first case study looks at a global SaaS provider. They migrated specifically to handle complex subscription billing across more than 20 different countries.
So dealing with 20 different tax codes and currencies like we talked about.
Exactly. Post-implementation, they achieved a 30% reduction in their quote-to-cash cycle time.
Wait, 30%?
30%.
So the time between a customer saying yes and the cash actually hitting the corporate bank account was cut by a third.
Right.
That is a massive increase in cash flow velocity.
It fundamentally changes a company's working capital. And they also saw a 25% increase in billing accuracy, basically eliminating a quarter of their previous errors.
That's huge.
And crucially, they achieved that strict ASC 606 compliance we talked about earlier.
The accountant's dream.
Exactly. But the second case study is even more striking. It was a medical devices manufacturer.
Okay, medical devices. So we aren't just talking about digital software licenses anymore.
No, this is physical.
We are talking about physical hardware, which usually involves incredibly complex product catalogs, weird supply chain variables, and really heavy regulatory oversight.
Which is exactly why their results are so impressive. They transitioned to Revenue Cloud to automate renewal management and handle bundled pricing for that massive catalog.
And the outcome?
A 40% faster deal closure rate.
I have to pause on that number. A 40% jump in deal closure speed.
Yeah.
That is the kind of metric that gets a chief revenue officer a standing ovation at a board meeting.
Oh, without a doubt.
But again, I want to drill down into the how. Because a sales team doesn't close deals 40% faster just because you bought them a shiny new software license.
Right.
What is the actual mechanism driving that kind of speed?
It comes back to the automated bundled pricing and the removal of approval bottlenecks.
Okay, explain that.
In a legacy CPQ system, if a rep wants to sell an MRI machine, bundle it with 3 years of predictive maintenance software, and include a custom training package for the hospital staff.
That's a lot of moving parts.
It is. That quote likely has to be routed through 3 different departmental desks just for margin approval. The rep waits 3 days just to get a PDF they can send to the client.
And while they are waiting, the deal completely loses momentum.
Exactly.
Like the hospital administrator goes on vacation or a competitor steps in.
But in Revenue Cloud, the AI has already pre-calculated the acceptable margin parameters for that specific bundle based on real-time cost data.
Oh, so it just greenlights it.
Yes. The system pre-approves the bundle instantly. The rep generates the contract right there during the meeting rather than 3 days later.
Yeah.
That is where the 40% speed increase comes from. It's eliminating the internal friction of waiting for human sign-off on standard complex configurations.
That makes perfect sense. But look, anytime we talk about transforming an enterprise at this scale, ripping out the old piping, installing new AI-driven plumbing, it sounds like open-heart surgery for a business.
That's a very fair assessment.
It can't all be smooth sailing and 40% faster close rates. What are the actual growing pains here?
This raises an important question, and it's something Darren is very transparent about in his piece.
Yeah.
The technology is totally capable, but the implementation is brutal if it's not handled correctly. He identifies 3 massive hurdles.
Let's hear them.
The first is data migration.
Which is literally never as simple as copy and paste.
Never, especially when you are dealing with in-flight transactions.
Oh, active deals.
Right. It's one thing to migrate historical, closed-won data. That's fine. It is an entirely different beast to migrate a $5 million enterprise deal that is currently sitting in the middle of red line negotiations.
Oh my gosh.
While your IT team is actively switching the underlying billing system over the weekend.
That sounds absolutely terrifying.
You have to ensure absolute data integrity so that those active deals don't suddenly calculate the wrong tax rate on Monday morning.
Okay, so data migration is hurdle 1. What's the second hurdle?
User adoption and training. You are forcing hundreds, maybe thousands of sales reps, finance managers, and legal teams onto a totally new interface with entirely new workflows.
And people hate change.
They despise it, even if the change is objectively better for them.
Right. And the third?
Process reengineering. And this is the big one. You cannot just plug cutting-edge AI into an old, broken business process and expect miracles.
Oh, absolutely. If your company has this bureaucratic 7-step approval process for a basic 5% discount, layering Einstein AI on top of it won't magically fix the bureaucracy.
No.
It will just execute your bad, bloated process a little bit faster.
Exactly. The new technology acts as a mirror. It forces an organization to confront and fix its own operational dysfunction. You literally have to rewrite your own rules of engagement to align with what the platform can actually do.
Which perfectly transitions us to the final piece of the roadmap. Because Darren doesn't just list the hurdles and walk away, right?
Right.
He lays out a very grounded 5-step strategy to actually navigate this evolution.
And it starts exactly where we just left off. Step 1, conduct a readiness assessment.
Look before you leap.
Yes. Before you sign a contract for Revenue Cloud, you have to look inward. Evaluate your current CPQ usage, assess the maturity of your internal processes, and crucially, identify your technical debt.
Technical debt is such a massive hidden anchor.
It really is.
We're talking about those, hard-coded pricing rules from 2018 that the original developer built before they left the company.
Oh, yeah, we've all seen those.
And now nobody knows how to change them without breaking the entire system. You have
Yep.
to untangle all of that first.
Step 2 is to engage stakeholders early. This cannot be a project that IT just builds in a basement and then springs on the sales team 6 months later.
That never works.
You need sales, finance, IT, and customer success in the room during the blueprint phase.
Step 3. Adopt a phased implementation strategy. So don't do a terrifying big bang rollout where you switch every global division overnight.
Please don't do that.
Prioritize the critical processes, run a pilot with maybe a single product line or a smaller geographic region, and expand iteratively based on real-time feedback.
Exactly. And then step 4 is investing heavily in change management and training. And this means role-based training.
Meaning?
You don't train a sales rep the same way you train a billing specialist. You have to communicate the actual benefits to them personally.
Oh.
Show the sales rep that this new system isn't corporate big brother watching their pipeline. It's a tool that ensures their commission gets paid accurately and faster because deals don't get stuck in finance.
That is the key to adoption right there. Sell the benefit to the individual, not just the corporation.
Yep.
And finally, step 5. Partner with experienced consultants. Bring in the specialists who live and breathe the Salesforce ecosystem. Don't try to have your internal IT team figure out Revenue Cloud architecture on the fly.
So when we look at those 5 steps holistically, what stands out to you?
So what does this all mean? When I really look at Darren's roadmap, the most striking takeaway is that of the 5 steps, only step 1 is truly about evaluating the technology.
Right.
It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. They are entirely about managing human psychology and organizational behavior.
It's all people.
It's about forcing siloed departments to finally talk to each other. It's about easing anxious employees through the fear of change, training them with empathy, and bringing in expert human guides.
It's a really profound realization. The technology of Revenue Cloud is undeniably advanced. It perfectly aligns with the multi-currency, heavily regulated complexities of today's digital economy.
Yeah.
But technology on its own is completely inert. Unlocking its actual value, getting that 40% faster closure rate or that pristine ASC 606 compliance, it requires deliberate, thoughtful human orchestration. You have to align the people before you can align the data.
That brings us right back to you, the listener. Whether you are prepping for a massive IT infrastructure meeting, whether you are trying to figure out how to stop the invisible revenue leaks in your own departmental bucket, or if you're just fascinated by how global enterprises manage the immense complexity of their cash flow.
Which is fascinating.
It really is. Darren Ferneyhough's roadmap makes one thing very clear. Upgrading your revenue lifecycle is no longer just a math problem for the finance team. It is equal parts cutting-edge artificial intelligence and careful, deliberate human leadership.
And I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over, building on the AI capabilities we just discussed.
Okay.
We talked about how Revenue Cloud uses Einstein AI for deal scoring and pre-approving complex margin bundles. It acts as the ultimate data-driven authority on what deals are healthy and where the money is hiding.
Right.
If we project that forward as we continue to build these highly intelligent agentic enterprises, what happens to the traditional gut instinct of the veteran salesperson?
Oh, that's a question.
As AI becomes the ultimate arbiter of a deal's viability, does human intuition in sales become entirely obsolete? Or does it just evolve into something entirely new, focus less on the math and more on the human connection?
Are we still driving the F1 car, or are we just sitting in the cockpit watching the AI navigate the turns for us? What a fantastic question to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the evolution of revenue management. We invite you to keep questioning, keep learning, and keep exploring.